The US president liked what happened in the Oval Office earlier today. 75 minutes that meeting lasted with Kim Jong-chol, the former military intelligence chief of North Korea. The US president comes out of this meeting saying that he even doesn't want to use the term maximum pressure campaign anymore. That being, of course, that campaign of sanctions that had been imposed not just by the United Nations, but by the United States as well. Why does he not want to talk about that anymore? Well, because now there is a relationship building between the United States and North Korea, one that will be very visible indeed on the 12th of June with that meeting in Singapore with the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. The US president said that sanctions were discussed in the Oval Office. What, of course, North Korea wants is the relatively quick easing of economic sanctions on North Korea. The US president also saying, as you mentioned there, that he had all sorts of new sanctions lined up and that he is willing to use those if talks do indeed break down. So this is certainly not the end of this. It is only just the beginning. The US president also seemed confident that one thing that could come out of that meeting in Singapore could be an announcement of the end of the war between North Korea and South Korea. The United States has to sign on the dotted line for that to become a reality. All sorts of things that might come out of that summit, but not a very clear announcement as to the denuclearization of North Korea. That is something, according to Donald Trump, that is only just starting. The process is starting. In that sense, the president and the White House are getting a lot less than what they had expected. They wanted a clear promise toward denuclearization on behalf of North Korea. They didn't get that. All they got was a promise to start talking about it in Singapore.
Now, we're only just 2 weeks away, less than 2 weeks away from this summit. Should we take this news with a pinch of salt, given it's been on again and off again, or does it look like it will actually go ahead?
Well, it does look like it'll go ahead right now, but never forget that pinch of salt when it comes to the US president and some of the pronouncements he makes. One example came from that very long time he spent with reporters just outside of the Oval Office, just after the departure of Kim Jong-chol, in fact. He said at the very start of his remarks that the letter he had received from Kim Jong-un was very nice and interesting. 10 minutes later, he said that he had in fact not read the letter and had in fact not even opened the envelope. So who are we to believe, Donald Trump or the US president, is the question that we have to ask ourselves now. But this meeting is most likely going to go ahead because there are all sorts of US and North Korean teams already working on this. There are teams in Singapore right now, a US delegation and a North Korean delegation, working on the actual logistics of this summit. Now, the logistics, that is anything from where will they sit, will they be shaking hands, how long will they spend time together, the visuals, essentially, of this. And it might end up being more of a photo opportunity than anything else. Again, back to the US president saying that very crucial sentence that this was only the process getting started. And that will start, according to him, on the 12th of June in Singapore.